Good morning, guys. Time for a little social studies. All right, before we left our classroom, we just barely started on talking about communities and towns and kind of where we live at and how we're kind of intertwined with everybody. So now we're going to go a little bit more in depth in that. In your packet, you will find two activities. One activity for this week is just a book that you'll put together, kind of color and read with mom and dad. Kind of talks about a community and how we're related to everybody around us. And then that next one, next week, ooh, you get to have scissors. Ooh, you get to cut out and see how it keeps growing from how we start out. We're kind of in Nebraska. There we are. We think we're big, but we're really pretty small. So we start out in O'Neill, but O'Neill is actually part of the state of Nebraska. That is a terrible Nebraska. Wow, the panhandle is like huge. Let's try that. That's at least a little better. So then we're part of Nebraska. That is a state. The state is also part of a country. Our country. Oh, this could get really bad. Okay. So our country, we drop down to Texas and then over to Florida and then up. Ooh, our country is the United States. So we're part of that as well. So we're part of our town of O'Neill, which is part of a state, which is Nebraska, which is part of our country, which is the United States, which is part of our, actually, we're, even there we have a continent. Oh, we've got so many. Oh, I did not think this through when I started drawing. I cannot draw that much on that little of a space. Goodness. Well, okay, Boo Boo. Yo, what up, my man? He's up there hanging up on my wall. Yeah, him and I are good friends, as you know. So I won't be able to draw, but yes, it keeps getting bigger and bigger. And so your next activity shows how we start out with we're small, where we live, and it keeps getting bigger and bigger as we start to encompass continents and our whole entire world as far as to be part of the earth, because we don't live by ourselves. There are people all over this world, and they each have their own home and their own community as well. So, for today, we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about a community and a kind of refresher. A community is a place where people live and work together, where they have fun. O'Neill is a great example of a community. We have all sorts of nifty and cool things there. One of the things that we get to do in our town that not everybody gets to do is we get to have our St. Patty's Day celebration where we all get to paint the shamrock. That doesn't happen in every community. So that's something that just our community gives us, that where people come together and they can have fun and they can work together and they can visit. And that's what makes a community. So again, a community is a place where people live and work and have fun together. So O'Neill is a great example of a community. A city, now a city is a big and busy community. They still get to do some things that where they come together and they work together and they have fun as well. There's just lots more people. So a city would be like Lincoln or Omaha. In different states, there's ones that could be like Denver or Kansas City or New York. They have some really, really big cities. And big cities look different than our town of O'Neill because they would have bigger buildings, they would have a bigger apartment buildings, a lot more people, a lot more cars. So it looks a little bit different than what our town is. Okay, outside of cities, turn my page so I can keep track of what I'm talking about. Outside of cities, they have something called a suburb. And now this was confusing us when we were in our classroom. And it makes sense that it confuses us because we just don't have any suburbs around here. We don't. We're not big enough to have suburbs. But a suburb is a community that is located very close to a big city. So it's kind of like a little town that's right outside of a big city. So a suburb is a community that is located near a big city. And we just don't have very many of those around here. I do believe they have some in Omaha, but not anywhere around here. So, and I'm not as familiar with the ones in around Omaha as I probably should be. I'm more familiar with the ones around Denver. But, so those are the ones that we're going to talk about today. There's a little fly that is flying around Mrs. Froman's face. Ooh, but that means, haha, the weather's getting warmer, so that's okay. Come back, little fly, come back. Ooh, I don't know where he went. But hopefully that means that the weather's going to keep getting warmer and we're going to keep being able to go outside and play in our yards. Alrighty, guys. So here's for social studies. For this week, you're just going to do that book where you're going to color it and read over it with mom or dad and kind of get a feel of what it is to be part of a community and how it grows from a town to a state to a country, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger, okay? And then next week is kind of a step up from that activity as well. All right, guys, enjoy your day. We'll talk to you later. Bye.